Hello everyone, welcome to our second video. I'm so happy with all the feedback that I've been getting. So thank you so much for getting back to me with the feedback, of course, and also for giving me some tips on how we could improve it and some videos that would be interesting. And I had one idea by talking with one of the amazing students that have been helping me with this, that was about creating a design from scratch here on Figma, so you can see like how it goes, how I usually goes with my process, and then I can be talking while I'm also doing that. So I think it will be more like hands-on, and this is also a challenge for you to follow along with me on this video and try it by yourself. Okay, so I'm gonna share with you my favorite resource for when I'm talking about UI and when I need to do a benchmark, which it is like to see what other people are doing to solve like a problem and how they are tackling that. I always go to Mobbin. This is not a publi, of course. This is not like a, yes, this is just really to show you that this is what I usually use. They have this like they divide the categories by web, Android, and iOS. And here they have like apps, they divide by categories. They have like screens, they divide by like common screens like home, my account and profile, subscription, welcome and get started, and login, sign up, and so on. They also have flows. When I'm working like with flows, I always use this. So this is awesome. And this is also an exercise that I want to show you later, maybe just to show you how when we are like working with user flows and etc. But this is a for another exercise. So today, oh, they have also UI elements. So this is also good here for you to get familiar with what are the most common UI elements, because sometimes someone may ask you, oh, what if we have like a button sheet? And then sometimes you might be like, what is this? So it's always good to see it here. They also have like a description. You can see it here. They have a description like what a button sheet is. So it also helps you to, yeah, to get familiar with the terms and yes, that's it. So I'm gonna start by, we have here like some common screens. They are updating this like every week. So every week we have like new apps added here. You can also suggest, like you can request content and then you can add like an app that you think would be interesting for them to add. Yeah, I have the pro account because the pro account gives me more freedom while I'm searching and for seeing flows. I think the free account, I haven't been using the free account in a while. You have more limited access, but I'm gonna share this with our friends that I think you may have like some time to test it. And then, yep, I'm gonna share in the description section. So I thought about for this exercise, starting with this ChatGPT sign up page. I think this is it's not a so overwhelming page. It's like not a super overwhelming screen. So I think this is a good start. So what I usually do, I'm gonna come here and copy screen. I can download, but I'm gonna be copying screen. I'm gonna be coming here in Figma and just like paste it, or Command V or Control V. By the way, if someone knows like any app that I can use to show what I'm typing on my keyboard, please share it as well, because I think it's important for you to see like exactly what commands I'm typing, what shortcuts I'm using, and so on. So, okay, I have my ChatGPT page here. The only problem with that, and is that it comes really big. It's really big. We are not gonna be designing like, I'm just gonna show you a little bit here. When we are like designing, we always start, the frame is like everything that is inside the frame. So usually we think about the frame as think about like a portrait, that everything that you have inside is your design, but this is framed. So we always use a frame for being the standard size. So here, for example, we have a lot of common frames for phones. So the basic one that I always use, because I think it's like it's not super big, so we are always also adapting it to those who have like smaller mobile phones. I always like to use this iPhone 13 mini. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna be clicking on this. Figma already created me the frame, which is awesome. But that's what I wanted to show you. Can you see, like, when we are like designing things for delivering it to the developer for, yeah, for representing what a mobile would look like with our design, we have these common sizes. Even though if I use like this, the biggest one here, you can see this is still super different from the screen that I got from Mobbin. So what I always need to do when I'm getting this from Mobbin is that I always check like what is the width, that is 275, and I come here and I change the width of the image, that this is an image, just make sure that this is an image, and I'm gonna be changing it to 375 as well. Now it's the common standard size. Okay, awesome. So now we are ready to start our design. This is an exercise that I did a lot when I was starting as a UI designer, that it was like just getting screens from from other apps and just pasting it on Figma and recreating it. And why that exercise was good for me, because then I could get familiar with like, okay, oh, I see when they designed this, they did this and they did this, and those common standards, when I was like doing my own designs, I could refer back to that and see like, oh, okay, so this is a common practice. I'm gonna be using this here as well for like common sizes, common radius border, and so on. I'm also gonna try to, one of the feedback that I got was to maybe create a video on components. I'm gonna try to also show you here, let's say today we are recreating this sign up screen, but I'm gonna also show you how we could already get some components here for next time we are working on another screen from ChatGPT. We already have like some material done, so we already have a sort of UI kit being built. So let's start. So I'm gonna be always putting here next. You can put on the left, you can put on the right, whatever. I already told you to create a frame. We always create our designs inside a frame. So I'm always coming here by clicking F or by clicking here. You can see. And as I told you, the common size that I always use for mobile is this one, iPhone 13 mini. You can use another size if you'd like to. It's just that I think this is a common, it's a better size for them if I need to make it bigger, make it smaller. It's like not so big that I have to make it too smaller and so on. So this is a common standard that I think it works. Okay, so let's go. What information do I have here already? I see I can start creating, I'm gonna be creating some rectangles. This is what I would be usually doing my process. So the process can be a little bit messy, but I just want to show you how you could tackle that. So I'm just gonna be creating a rectangle here, any size. Okay, I already know that ChatGPT has this orange color here. So I'm gonna be copying this. I know that they have this another color here for this. And yeah, so let's go. Thinking about the background, as I see that ChatGPT has this orange color here in the background, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply this color already here in the background. And for doing that I could come here and just click on this and then click on the orange color, or I could just, I'm gonna undo it, so Command Z, and I'm just gonna click on the frame, click on I. Every time I click on I, it opens me this color picker, color pick, yes. So I'm just gonna come here and I'm just gonna be selecting this orange color, and awesome, I already have like this applied here. Okay, so next thing that I will be creating is this, it looks like a button sheet. As I told you, like here, if you come on this, if you come on UI elements, can you see button sheets? They are usually like this. They come like, they show up from the bottom. And they are, as you can see it here, like on the description, they are like an overlay that is anchored to the bottom of the screen that displays supplementary content. I think this is like when you open ChatGPT, I don't know if you can see it here. Let's try to see. ChatGPT, as I told you, the process can be a little bit messy, so I'm just doing it as I would do like real life. I know that they have like some options here for when you want to see it like kind of an animation, but I cannot see it here now. So I think they don't have for this app specifically. Okay, but let's go back. So I'm gonna create this sort of button sheet that is holding all the actions, like the actions that are available within the screen. They are all inside this button sheet. And what are those actions? They are, we have here like 4 different actions. So I have the option to log in with my Apple account. I have the option to log in with my Google account, which is the continue with Google. I have the option to sign up with email if I want to create a new account, or if I have already an account, I have the option to log in. So we have like these 4 different actions contained inside this button sheet. Okay, so usually what I would do, I would be creating a rectangle here. Can you see like a rectangle? I can put this rectangle here on inside iPhone 13 mini. I can come here and put align button and align center. But can you see that I need to make like some adjustments because it's a rectangle inside a frame, and so I need to be adjusting it more manually. I don't like that much, so I'm gonna be showing you another thing that I do, which is related to Outo Layout. So this might be getting a little bit complicated, but I think it's good if I can show you both. So you can also create by yourself like this rectangle, apply this color. Thinking about the radius corner, I'm gonna be, okay, I think it might be 32. Can you see that it went here on the bottom? So here I can open this independent corners and it shows me the ones at the bottom. I can change it to 0 and that's it. Okay, and what if I want to do like the exactly same size? One thing that I usually do is like I create a rectangle on the drawing just to get the measures. Like, can you see, like, I can see it here that we have like this height of 200 and yes. So I'm gonna be applying the same here to this. Can you see? And adjusted it again to the bottom. Okay. Okay. So now we already have it. This. Now I'm gonna be creating my buttons. We cannot, as I told you, I'm gonna be recreating this with Outo Layout layer because this is usually I go with Outo Layout, but I know it's too much for like a first lesson. So let's go with the buttons. Okay, first of all, when I'm creating a button, as I usually go with Outo Layout, I always go with text. So I'm gonna type continue with Apple. I don't know the font that ChatGPT uses. There is a way for us to know that, but I'm gonna be teaching you this in another lesson because it might be getting even more complicated. So for this lesson, I'm gonna be using Inter, that is the default typography from Figma. So, okay, but how do I know the size that ChatGPT is using here? So I'm just gonna put it here on the side. I'm just gonna change this to auto width. Yes, awesome. So I'm gonna put it here on the side, and then I'm gonna be starting just like checking and until I think I'm happy with that. Okay, I think this is too big. I can put it on top as well. Another exercise that might help is for you to create a copy and maybe lower the opacity, and then you can put your things on top as well and draw it. I know a lot of people do like that, so there's also an option. As I told you, the process is not the same for everyone. You can adjust it to what works best for you. So I'm gonna come here and continue with Apple. Is still big, can you see? So I'm gonna be decreasing it. Okay, I think it's 16. Not so, but 17 is not common to have 17, but okay. I think it has like a medium. Let's see. It might be, I think it's 16 with a medium, yes, a medium, yes. So I can change this a little bit to 1% just to be more close to it, and that's okay. Awesome. Okay, I have my button. How could I go forward with my button? I could create a rectangle as well and add like the white, draw it on top. Can you see? And just go, I'm just gonna change the background here. So you can, if you click here, go back to the properties panel and can change it. I think it's easier for you to show. Awesome. So I'm gonna put the send to the back, and then this is a way for me to create a button. So what I can do here, I can select both and go on Shift A, and can you see what happened? I created a frame that is an Outo Layout. And now inside this, that rectangle that I created was transformed into an Outo Layout. So this is a super, super, super important exercise. I advise you in always doing this. Don't create like buttons as a group or as a frame. Always create as an Outo Layout. Outo Layout is the most important thing in Figma for you to master, I think. Like, because when you do like when you have to be like responsive with that design, is easier to do it with Outo Layout. It's also easier when you need to adapt it to different scenarios, like if, yeah, I'm gonna show you later how Outo Layout helps. But okay, I'm gonna do it again just to show you. So I created one rectangle that I just did draw it on top, but you can see here we have like the common standard of 48, always like buttons like 48 is the standard. The minimum is 44, but I always design with 48, so it's like a super common standards, and we will see while we will be recreating some screens that this is the most common standard. Okay, so you could see that I selected a rectangle that I created, the text. You can do that by dragging it here, or you can go here on the layers panel, as I told you in the last video, and select this and click on command to select, Command command to select both, and you can click here, use Outo Layout, or you can click on Shift A, Outo Layout, perfect. Now you have like some different things here that are related to how an Outo Layout works. You can align this top left or in the center or in the right. But as this is already, it already adjusted. Can you see the horizontal paddings? That is the space between like what is in the, what is within this Outo Layout. These paddings are like the distance between what is within this Outo Layout and everything else, like the borders of this Outo Layout. Okay, so we have our first button. Yes. So what about the radius corner? I can put it here again and just try to adjust it you can come here, can you see? And just, what I'm doing here, I'm just decreasing and increasing with my keyboard, you know, those buttons that you have like the arrows on the bottom right of your keyboard. I'm using that to play with it. So I think this is more, let's see, maybe 12. Let's see. If I want to even be more sure of that, I can decrease the opacity and just check it. Not yet, can you see? I can make my Outo Layout bigger as well, make it smaller. Now it has 46, and I told you that the most common standard is 48. You can resize it to 46, just be a minimum of 44. I think this is it. I think it's 12, yes. It's fitting perfectly. So yes, we have a button. Now I'm going to come here on opacity and just put it back to 100%. Yes, we have our first button. And can you see what I did? I just dragged it here and automatically put it inside my frame. So I'm just gonna rename this to button. And now we have like our first component, right? While we are talking about component, we have our first component. So I'm just gonna put this here on the outside. I'm just gonna put it here because now I'm gonna be creating some components from that. So we already have the colors. I can also put this here because this is already one of the font sizes and font typography that are already identified. So I'm gonna put it here as well. I'm gonna be creating, this is already like starting a UI kit. Can you see? I already identified some things within this screen that I'll be using it again on another screens, and this is another video that I'll be doing. And maybe next video I can continue with ChatGPT and already using these things that I created. Yeah, it's a good idea. So I'm gonna be applying this just to make this more organized. I know already that I have this color, so by coming here, I'm gonna be apply styles and variables. I'm gonna be going to custom, just stay in library, and going to new style or variable and making this style. So I'm gonna call it black. And for this one, I'm gonna do the same, new style, orange. And this one here, I'm gonna be calling it going to plus, and I'm gonna be calling it CTA because this is the fonts that are being used on the call to action, like the actions that we have on the screen. So I'm gonna use this as a CTA. For now, we can rename these text styles and also the color styles and everything later. So create style, awesome. So I'm just gonna make sure to now come here on apply styles, and these other things are now from Figma. They are getting like some, they're showing here like some libraries. For example, the Material 3 Design Kit that is from Google. They already have it here if you want to use that. that is perfect as well. But for this exercise, I just want to show you how to identify and create one from scratch. So I'm gonna be applying this one. On the button, I identified that we have a white color, so I'm gonna come here and create another one for white. Awesome. Just make sure that this is applied the orange and this is selected colors, that is this one, selected black. So now we have like these buttons and everything applied. I'm gonna be creating a component from this. I'm not gonna be doing now like about icons because this is more like we will need to check some additional resources, so I'm gonna be just doing this. If you want to leave a place here for adding we can do that. Actually, I will do that now. To add the icon later, we can do just like draw a rectangle. We can draw it outside. Usually the size is like 24 or 20. I'm gonna be creating 24. I'm gonna be, can you see it? I'm dragging it here. And when I put it on top of Outo Layout, it already shows me, can you see this blue highlighted and here on the left? So that means that if I, now I'm clicking on my mouse. If I just stop clicking on it, it's gonna be inside it. So yes, let's leave it this. Or you could just get it here and drag it here on the left. You can see on the left what I'm doing. You can put it here and just, can you see, drag it here, it will be the same. Okay, so we have already, this is a placeholder for us to add an icon, which means it's like it's here and later we can add an icon to it, and maybe on the next lesson, because I don't want this to be super big and overwhelming. Okay, we have the copy and perfect. So now I'm gonna transform this into, I'm gonna just rename this to, no, it's already renamed. I can rename this to icon. I can rename this to CTA, call to action. Now I'm gonna be creating a component by clicking here and creating component. I can, and now I want to create these other buttons. Like we have, you can identify here that we have 3 types of buttons. This one, I would call it primary. That is the one that is standing out more. This one would be a secondary, and this one would be a tertiary. That is like, as it stands out more. We can see it later as well, but just to show you how to identify this. So, okay, I created a component. I'm gonna call this, no. Can you see here, add property? I'm gonna click on this plus. And by that, I'm gonna be, no, sorry, forget it about it. I want to create the variants of this button, like to create this secondary. We have the primary to create the secondary and this tertiary. So I'm gonna be coming here on this add variant. Can you see this diamond icon? Can you see that created a copy, exactly copy of my button? So that's it. Based on that, I'm gonna be, can you see it here on the left that it called my first one as default? So it created a copy from my default, so I can work on this one that are based on the first one that I created. Yes, I know it's a lot of information, but trust me, it makes sense like later. Just so, the second one I'm gonna be calling secondary. I can change it here. I can also rename this now. Default, I can come here and call it primary. And when I click here on this button, now I can see that I have like 2 values. And it will make sense for you later. Okay, so what I'm gonna do with the secondary, I'm gonna press I on my keyboard, that is this pick color. I'm gonna be picking this color. We already have the placeholder here for this copy. So what I'm gonna do, I identified another color, so I'm gonna be creating this for secondary. I can create like I'm gonna be creating I can put this like button. If I put this here that I don't know the name, is a slash. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, sometimes I forget the name of the things in English. But if I put this will create like a folder, which will be button will be a folder, and what I put next to it will be inside of the folder button. So I can create button secondary. And I'm gonna show you what happened. Can you see it created button secondary? So this is part of my button folder. If I want to add this white, because this white was like identified from the primary button, I can get this white and just drag it, can you see, inside? So now my white color is part of the button's colors. This is more for organizing and having things more organized so you can check up later, and then we feel, oh, okay, what color should I use for the buttons? Then you know, like here you'll have like a section for buttons. This is more for organizing and so on. Okay, but I still need to change the copy of this button. So what I can come here is select this and come here on this. Another thing that sometimes might happen, and for example, I work with design systems, and usually we have like these buttons, and we have like, usually we have like actions, we have like text, we have like background. So here I would have another of these folders for text, and then inside this text I would have another white. But here I'm gonna be using like as this, we are creating a basic UI kit. We don't need to do like things perfectly. We need it to make sense for us, and why organizing this is helping us. Okay, so I'm gonna apply this, and yes, we have our secondary button. So now we don't need to create this other one. I'm gonna leave the placeholder here for the icon for another class because it's already super big, this lesson. We don't need to create this one, as I mentioned, because I already have that. So now we're going to be just creating our tertiary button. So I'm going to be creating, I can now click on this, add variant, perfect. Can you see that it doesn't have like a fill? It's not like there's no fill being applied in this. This button just has like a stroke that is the same color as this one. So what I'm going to do for this tertiary, oh, by the way, you can also change the copy here to continue with Google, but this is okay because a component you can change the copy. The most important things on a component is the styles that we applied for and etc. So that's okay. Going back to our tertiary, I'm gonna remove the fill, and now I'm gonna be creating a stroke based on my styles from the secondary button color. And yes, I created it. I can also rename it if that makes it easier. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this inside. How am I gonna put that? If I go here on assets, I will see that now I have like all libraries that is like local assets. I'm gonna click on this, and I can see I already have like button here. So this is my, in this local assets, you can call this as your little UI kit regarding like your components and everything that will help you when scaling that design. Like yeah, I'm gonna click on this button. Can you see it now? If, oops, I forgot to rename this. Let's go back and just rename this to tertiary. Can you see now if I click on this button, I can change it here, and can you see it's the same component, but as I change it here, it's changing the color and etc. because we created like variants of that same button. So it's the same component, but it has variants according to what we adjusted. So I'm gonna be inserting instance of this primary, and yes, it's here. You can see here, if you go back to file and go on layers, you can see that we have this icon now that is, for example, when it's a component, we'll have this with the four I don't know the name of this, sorry. The for of this, if it is an instance, it is like this, just one. Instead of for, you have just one. So always leave the components as is, because if you add anything to your components, it's going to reflect on all the instance that you have. So leave the component like in a separate space. You can create a page here and call it components. You can leave it here like besides while you're working. I usually, when I'm creating that, I just leave it here. And after that, when like I'm organizing the file and I have more things, I will create another page and call it components. Okay. So I'm gonna select the instance and put it here. You can see it now. I'm gonna do another thing now, that is, if I click on option and drag it, can you see if I click on option? I don't know the naming in the Windows keyboard. I can try to look at it later and add it afterwards, but I know that on the Mac keyboard, if you click on this option, you can see that you have like a duplicate. I can see the icon is showing duplicated. Yes, I hope you can see it. So that means that if I have the option pressed, I'm gonna be creating a copy. So this is awesome. And if I want this copy to be like aligned, I just need to keep option pressed and click on shift. So everything will be like, can you see, it's aligned to that first, to my source, like to the thing that I was copying from. So I'm gonna do this for all the others. Awesome. Okay. Now we have like components. So the magic of components is now that I can come here. Okay, but we have like 4 primaries. That's the magic of components. I can come here and just change to secondary, change this one to secondary as well, and change this one to tertiary. And here I can, what I'm doing here, just to show you what I did here, I just pressed letter T and it selected the copy. So sign up with email. Awesome. Okay, so what else do we need to do? Transform this in an Outo Layout. So I want to transform this in an Outo Layout, as I mentioned before. So I'm gonna select this by dragging it. Can you see it's showing like selecting it all? And you can see, I'm gonna move myself here, sorry. You can see here on the left, it's showing all of this select, like my button, and rectangle. And now I'm gonna move myself again. I can come here on Outo Layout, or I can click on Shift A. It created a frame or an Outo Layout. It created an Outo Layout. So can you see the rectangle that I had? When transforming this in an Outo Layout, Figma understood the rectangle as the place that would contain the other things inside. So Figma transformed my rectangle into this Outo Layout. So this is awesome. And now we have like an Outo Layout. So I'm gonna call this button sheet. It's not a button sheet, but yeah, let's see, container CTAs. You don't need to rename like layers every time. It's just, I'm just doing this to show you and etc. Can you see it that automatically here adjusted the paddings and so on? So now I'm just gonna do some minor adjustments just to make sure we are doing it exactly as ChatGPT. So what I told you before, when I need to check like some sizes, as this is a PNG, I'm usually drawing like a rectangle that I will delete later, but just to checking. So here we have like a padding of 23. On my Outo Layout, I have this as a 23 as well. Awesome. Let's check here at the bottom. I have like 32. Here I have, I don't know what happened here, but I will be 32. Can you see that it made this weird of not containing everything? So what I can do here is just come here and hug content. And can you see everything here came to the bottom? So now I can just come here and align button, and now it's perfect. But here at the bottom I have 32, but not here at the top. So I'm gonna be checking what is the size here at the top. Seems like it's also 23. So can you see, like, I'm gonna be coming here on this individual padding and just change it, this one at the top for, yes. But can you see some basic things already that you can notice about like visual UI and like how to make things like look nicer? They used the same padding on top and on the paddings on the left and right and on the top, and they have like a different padding on the at the bottom because we need space for, like, for example, this thing from the iOS that is like, you know, when you do that for, yes, for things that are related to the operational system and so on. But can you see already, like, they applied the same padding? So this is already something to notice, like to have this same paddings on all sizes, so on all sides, sorry. So yes. Now, one last thing is to check this padding between the buttons. So let's see. We have, it seems like is sometimes we are not able to get like exactly because, yes, can you see Figma is always adjusting to pixels, so it's not showing me exactly. But I'm gonna presume that this is probably 12. Oops, no, it's 12, sorry. Awesome. And yes, we did recreate ChatGPT sign-up page. What about the logo, Beatrice? Okay, we don't have the logo from ChatGPT, but we can also do like put a, as I mentioned to you before, add like a placeholder. So I'm gonna be just getting like a form that would be the placeholder for this logo, drag it here, centralize it, and I can use like Command R, oops, no, Command R, no, Shift R to show like this rule. Can you see this rule? And just to adjusting it, okay, I think it's, yeah. So it is adjusted to the, where it is exactly on the ChatGPT page. And to hide this rule again, Shift R. Rulers, sorry, hidden. And that's it. We created our ChatGPT sign up page. Maybe on the next video, I can show you how to add like ChatGPT logo and maybe some icons to it. That would be a good idea as well. If you agree, you can leave me some comments on things that would be nice to do in the next video. If it would be nice for us to continue with this and add icons and add the logo. So yeah, let me know what works best. The video is super long, sorry about that. I'm still figuring it out how to do that. And as I told you at the beginning, this would be a simple page, simple screen. But I wanted to cover this of like creating, working already with Outo Layout. I could start like by teaching you doing it more basic, but I think it's important for you to learn Outo Layout. So please try to do this exactly as I did for applying the Outo Layout. That will be super, super helpful for you from going forward. Outo Layout is a must. And yes, that's it. So we have our sign up page from ChatGPT done, and this is super exciting. I'm looking forward to see how it goes. If you're like, if we're going to be recreating this, if we're accepting this challenge, I hope so. If you want to send me like, oh, Beatrice, I recreated the design as you suggested, you can send me the Figma link, you can send it in the comments, you can send me on DM, like in any place where you usually talk with me, for me to check. And if you had any problem, like, oh, I couldn't do that or that happened, just send me a screenshot or something, and we can figure it out what happened. Okay, and I hope this video helped. So yes, and thank you for following along. It has been 45 minutes, but I hope this lesson was valuable for you. Okay, so thank you and see you on the next video. Bye.